Alright, hey guys, I know it's been a while since I did a video. You guys are probably hoping I had forgotten how to do this altogether, which is not untrue. But I'm gonna kick this back off, try to get back in the swing of things, try to mix it up a little bit today. We're gonna do kind of a three-part thing here. So we're gonna go over the LBX Armatus plate carrier, the LBT-6094 low profile, and then we're going to go over this quick release assault panel, the 2586J, I believe. So I'm going to go over how those all interact, and then kind of my thoughts for how to make the best of this system. I think most people are familiar with the 6094. It's kind of the gold standard for plate carriers. Not saying it's the best, but it's, about the baseline for what I would consider a functional quality plate carrier. And then a lot of people are also familiar with the 6094 slick. So the low profile is kind of in between, and then the Armatus is obviously a different animal altogether. So we'll look at them separately, and then how to use them together, which is kind of odd. Alright, so for the sake of tossing these things around and not having them fall over from either being too heavy or too floppy, stuck some soft armor backers in there to give it some sort of structure. So starting things off with the 6094 low profile. Alright, it's been a while since I've owned a slick, but here's the main difference that I can remember is the slick doesn't have the cummerbund flap here. Alright, so this is a very standard cummerbund flap, right? You lift it up from the bottom, and you've got your Velcro field underneath. So the low profile comes with an elastic cummerbund, but you could use anything you want as far as the front's concerned, right? Standard cummerbund flap. Moving up, it has the LBT GRG pouch capability, which I'm a huge fan of. All right, I like being able to have reference sheets without needing an entire admin panel. So, right there you've got the ability for your clear sheet with whatever kind of reference material you need in there, and then you still have the slip pocket up top, the slash pocket for some of your bulkier items. All right, so I'm a big fan of that. It also has the kangaroo pocket behind that Velcro flap. So if you're not using the GRG pouch, this lower flap here seals your kangaroo pocket. And yeah, you can use that for whatever you want. I've seen people shove holsters in there. You can keep your mag if you need to clear out your weapon and you don't want to throw it in a pocket or something. You do that. All right, it's also got some routing cables here, and then your LBT version of where you would put a placard on. We'll get to that in a little bit, but that's what that's there for. The straps are standard 2-inch webbing straps, nothing special there. They've got a lot of adjustability. They do have kind of a long tail depending on how high you ride your plates, so you'll have to deal with that. All right. And then the back, as far as I can remember, is exactly the same as a slick. So you've got your 3 rows of moly webbing, and then your bottom row. If you're at all like me and it bugs you, just know that the newer versions have the 5 columns on the bottom. At one point in time I had a slick that had 6 on the bottom, so just know that they're out there both ways, and just pay attention if it bothers you one way or the other. And then you have a full cummerbund sleeve on the back here, so you are not stuck using the elastic. You can throw in basically anything you want. So you can get aftermarket cummerbunds, you can get a regular 6094 cummerbund in there, which gives you the ability to have your radio pouches up front on the cummerbund. So a lot of different options there. This is sized medium. And that is a true medium. You can fit medium ESAPs in there just fine. Small ESAPs ride okay. They've got a little bit of flop, but they're all right. And then your in conjunction with plates fit no problem with the soft armor backer. All right, so the 1694 low profile is true to size. You can fit the advertised plates in there. All right, now moving on to the 2586J. All right, I think the J is what gets you the internal pockets versus, I don't know, something else. I can't remember. Anywho, 2586 quick attach assault panel, something along those lines. All right, not a huge fan of the way LBT has kind of adapted to the whole placard idea, but to their defense, I think this has been out a good bit longer than they've been popular. So yeah, I don't know, and I haven't seen a super recent 1694, so maybe it's changed a little bit. But your 2586 comes with these little doodads here that are on top of these kind of repair buckle setups here. I knew at one point in time how you thread these onto things. I don't remember what exactly these are used for, unless they're for sitting in horizontal molly and then this catches on the stitching. I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. However, that doesn't work on the low profile. It might work on the regular 1694. All right, so what I've done is I just took that off and I clipped the buckle straight to the vertical webbing, and then there's no Velcro or anything on the back of that thing, so you get a full 2-inch waistband basically that you route through your rear cummerbund flap and buckle onto the vest, and that's what retains this thing tight to your body. Again, it's not the cleanest setup, but I do like the functionality of the panel because it makes up for not having a real cummerbund. All right, it gives you 2 radio pouches and then a big kangaroo pocket. So in here right now I have the 5.56 pocket, and you see it'll fit, standard metal GI mags. It'll fit P mags. It'll fit the 40 round P mags. Granted, they sit really high and that bungee is kind of tight. And you can even put a Glock 19 in there, and it retains it fairly well. All right, and then for radios, it fits 148s like a glove. In fact, it's kind of a challenge to get them in there. And then it'll also fit a XTS 5000 or XTS series Motorola radio with a side connector. So the side connector is the biggest hassle for those Motorola's. From my experience, is a lot of radio pouches that'll fit the bigger 152s and 148s won't fit a Motorola once you get the side connector on there. This rides high enough that it sits in there fine. And you can see that right there. No big deal, all right? It rides high enough. You can also get a 7.62 insert for this thing. The 7.62 insert works just fine for the mags, but it does leave a little bit to be desired, because it's so much narrower than the 5.56 panel that when you swap it out, there's a lot of slop in there. All right, this pocket retains the mags fine, but there's a good bit of give, and it's compounded when you have this with less Velcro surface area. So the 2586 I would not necessarily recommend with 7.62 mags. 5.56 it works just fine. And then you can see the 7.62 insert that's also an option for this thing will fit your 20 round PMags, your 25 round PMags, and it'll fit SCAR heavy mags. I just don't have any of those because I don't rate a SCAR, but they do fit. All right, so that's 2586. The back side of this is completely slick. No Velcro to retain anything. So just know, if you're planning on going that route, you have to use that waist strap, and it's got to be tight, or that thing is going to be bouncing all over the place. So now we'll take a look at the Armatus and see what's going on there. All right, so this is now the LBX Armatus plate carrier. Model number is LBX-4020. All right, if you're not familiar with LBX, it's the blatantly overseas line from LBT. All right, they are I think they're made in Peru. It's been a while since I've seen the tag on one of these. Theoretically, it's still got the LBT quality control on it. I'm going to be totally honest, I've given a lot of LBX products a try, and I don't have any real complaints as far as the quality goes, especially not in comparison to LBT. I think they're very similar. I've checked out both fabrics under nods. I think they're the same fabric. I haven't seen any of that goofy like Chinese night vision glow. That being said, it is overseas, so if you have figured out the Berry Amendment and how that actually applies to you, kudos. I haven't figured that out, but these are not Berry compliant. All right. So looking at the overall features here, this is the Chris Costa plate carrier, right? So it has, instead of a open top kangaroo pocket, it's got this zippered compartment. There's no internal organization or anything. It's fairly good size. It goes down to the bottom of the Velcro there, and then it's got the zipper. So it's feasible. You could work out of that while you're wearing it. I probably wouldn't have the best luck. I feel like maybe I'm wearing my plates too high, but I really can't get into those slash pockets on vests. Even my JPC, it's goofy. They have significantly cleaned up on this, how they approach their placards. However, they went a little too far. So, and this is not well advertised by LBX. But you've got a variety of placards you can get for this thing. They have a straight Molly placard. They have a 3M4 mag placard. And then they have a placard version of this, which they call the Assaulter panel, which is kind of a badass setup if it works for you. It's 3 M4 mags. 2 of them are tacos. One of them is just a kind of a shingle type, and then you've got 2 pistol tacos and 2 Kydex retention pistol pockets there with a little Kydex wing in the bottom, almost like a super short Kiwi if you've used one of those. So a lot of options there. You know, you can have pistol mags, Gerber, flashlight, whatever. It'll hold it just fine. I'm not a huge fan of pistol mags on my vest, but it's an option there. All right, I just happen to have the Molly version, but they do make a placard version. Okay. The biggest complaint I have here is they used 3/4 inch buckles instead of the entire rest of the industry using 1 inch buckles. So you cannot get an Armatus and throw any placard you want on there, especially because, and this is kind of a cool feature, but it really cuts down your abilities here. They have sewn a fabric cover over the buckle. It makes it look way more streamlined. Your buckles are probably going to be a little bit more resilient, but it basically makes any chance of modifying that to a 1 inch buckle moot point. Okay, but you just pinch there, and then it comes off like any other placard. It flips up just like any other cummerbund flapper, and then again you can use any cummerbund you want. All right. I don't know if these pads are stock. I got this thing used. These are fairly nice pads, but again, there's plenty of options out there for padding. Moving on to the back. This one is not nearly as much of an annoyance for me. Again, it's 3/4 inch buckles, but there's not really any standardization on back panels, so it's not a huge deal. And LBX has enough back panels out there that you should be able to fill whatever need you have. So this is kind of their backpack back panel. You've got this like mesh beaver tail thing here that'll fit a good size helmet without any worries, and then this backpack here, which has a lot of volume. All right, you could fit like a whole change of clothes in there, but it's still rather streamlined. And then I really like the way they did this, because the only thing holding this on are those 2 buckles and then a whole Velcro field. So theoretically, you could have custom placards made real easy for the back, as long as they're using 3/4 inch buckles with the right spacing, because it's just a Velcro field. There's no weaving anything, there's no zippers. It does not move if you don't want it to move. It's really nice, all right? And then you've got a channel for your cummerbund. So you could use any aftermarket cummerbund on this that you wanted, or any of the other LBT cummerbunds. The only goofy thing that's worth pointing out on here that I hadn't noticed before, so you've got fairly standard plate pockets down here, but each portion of the vest also has a whole separate pocket. Now, I don't know if that was intended for soft armor to go in there or what, but there's a little bit of foam in there. That came in there stock. And then you could use that for one of those inside the vest IFAKs if you wanted. If you're one of those guys that likes to carry a flag just because, you can stick that in there real easy. And it doesn't interfere with your plate at all. Plates go in and out of these things real easy. You can see the soft armor panel in there. I will say the plate sizing on the Armatus, with this thing being a medium, is a little bit small. A medium ESAPI is going to be the extreme of a shoehorn fit in here. It's going to be real difficult. I can fit a medium SAPI in there. It's super tight, all right, but it's doable. You got to shake it out when you're trying to change out your plates or move them to a different vest, but they will go in there. ESAPI, that's going to be questionable. All right, small ESAPIs fit perfect in here. They should have just called it a small vest and been done with it, but it's a medium. All right, so that's the Armatus 2. I'm gonna pause this, and then I'm gonna show you one last idea I have for this thing. All right, so to wrap this up, I'm gonna call this the LBT Black Friday special. All right. Oddly enough, the Armatus 2 is the most expensive portion of this setup. It doesn't seem to go on sale, and when it does go on sale, it's not much of one. But LBT is fairly reliable. Any holiday imaginable, they run some sort of sale. So the low profile I picked up last Black Friday, I believe for $100. So with that in mind, if you have an Armatus 2, this is a pretty easy swap to make. So the front and back panel on all of the 6094s, as far as I know, are compatible with each other. So this is probably how I'm going to use this thing, if I use it. Low profile front panel does everything I need it to do. All right, it's got MOLLE, it's got the GRG pouch, which I dig. It's got the kangaroo admin pocket up there. It's even got a little bit of a kangaroo pocket on the inside. I don't know for sure what you would put there, but it's there if you want it. It's got the kangaroo pocket behind the GRG, so you can hide some stuff in there. All sorts of stuff. It's got the cable routing, which is cool. And then, you know, it can take the assault panel if wanted. I'll probably go so far as to cut the MOLLE off of here. If I need to use this, it's still Velcro backed, it'll stick just fine. But that'll let me use Velcro backed placards, which I'm a huge fan of because you can swap from 5.56, 7.62 real easy, or you can dump it all together if you're trying to, you know, get super low profile on the front so you can go prone better. All right, and then we've got the mesh cummerbund from the Armatus 2. That thing's pretty legit, especially, you know, not having to go shopping for an aftermarket cummerbund. But then I've got the Armatus 2 back panel on there. So I showed you that goofy pocket on there. That'll hold the soft armor, medium cut soft armor backer, so I can put a medium SAPI in there, and I don't have to worry about not having that soft armor, and I don't have to worry about trying to fit a medium ESAPI in that plate pocket, which is going to be wicked tight. All right, like I was saying, the Armatus 2 back panels, I can forgive the 3/4 inch buckles because they have enough options. They've got the backpack, they've got a MOLLE panel, and then they've got a banger panel, which I believe is 4 bangers up top, and a GP pocket on the bottom. So plenty of options. I can't imagine that I would find any of those that don't fit some need. So LBT low profile front panel, LBX Armatus 2 back panel. you know, it's a little bit more up front, but then you have a whole second plate carrier that you can sell off, and you're probably looking at a pretty decent budget setup at that point. Because I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll take your Armatus 2 front panel with basically any back panel, and it'll be fine. If you guys got any questions, please hit me up. If you want to see something, let me know. I've got a lot of stuff that I can run through. It's just finding the time to do it. So if you guys have preferences, please let me know. If you can, give me a subscribe. That would help me out. Or some comments so that I know what you want. Appreciate your time, and hope this answered some questions for you. Thanks.